This year marks the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd's groundbreaking album, Dark Side of the Moon. There have been many events to celebrate it, and tonight there's an album launch for another tribute with a very different take, and it's all for a good cause. Duke Eatmon is at La Sala Rosa, where he's hosting the event tonight. And Duke, Dark Side of Venus, an incredible title for the album, how clever, is actually an album of covers by Black women.
Deborah, Brian Kotler is the president of Indie Roots Records. They're a local Montreal indie label. He's also the executive producer of this album. Now, tragically last year, Brian had a sister that passed away from ovarian cancer, and he wanted to do something really special to honor her. Now, a lifelong Pink Floyd fan, he used to torment her when they were teenagers by playing her music around the house all the time. Now, what he's done is he's reimagined this album with a very special twist. All of the songs on Dark Side of the Moon, which turned half a century this year, are sung by women, and they're all sung by Black women. And the reason for this, well, to quote Kotler, he wanted to add a little bit of soul to the music of Pink Floyd. When the album was released 50 years ago, there was a deep social and political message to it. I spoke to Brian during the sound check about now putting women at the forefront of Pink Floyd's music.
I find that now women seem to be getting the short end of the stick. I mean, women represent over 50% of the population, and they just don't seem to have the same rights that we have. Even with the Roe versus Wade being overturned, now, apparently in some states, women don't have control over their own bodies, And then when it comes to cancer and a lot of medical issues, women, and even more women of color, always tend to be not taken as serious, and they have to really push a little bit harder for that same equal treatment.
So, Duke, what can people expect at the event tonight?
Well, what's interesting about tonight is that we have 3 out of the 5 performers who actually recorded on the album. All of the singers from this album are from Montreal, with the exception of one being from Woodstock, Ontario. Prestige is a well-known reggae singer in the Toronto area who wasn't really a big fan of Pink Floyd before this album and before this project. And I asked her how this experience sort of gave her a rebirth and inspired her artistically and musically.
I kind of grew fond of it because I grew up loving rock and roll. Like, I love to listen to, No Doubt, Gwen Stefani, she's awesome. And, I love to listen to a lot of heavy metal type of things. So it was pretty cool that he asked me that. I was like, you're going to reintroduce me to rock and roll? I didn't know how I wanted to, express myself to the world as, here's reggae, here's R&B, here's soul, now here's rock and roll. And this is a wonderful opportunity to do such.
The show gets underway at 8 p.m. Yours truly will be hosting. All the proceeds from the album and the launch go to Ovarian Cancer Canada. It's going to be a great show, live band, live singers. Come on down and have fun and contribute to a great cause.
Sounds great. Thank you, Duke.